Valley Club, don't be fooled. There's a lot of teams and characters in Marvel Strike Force that are very tempting to go out and build, but there's a lot of trap teams, a lot of trap characters that are big waste of your resources. In this video, we're going to cover all of them. So if you're ready to see what are the biggest traps wasting your resources so you don't make these mistakes, and you know what to do, Valley Club. Find that like button and let's go smash it.
ValleyFlyin.
Hello, Valley Maniacs. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I'm ValleyFlyin. Hope you're having a great day. In this video, we're talking about the biggest trap teams, the biggest trap characters in Marvel Strike Force. Don't waste your resources on them because there's better options for you to use your resources on. Now, before we get to all that, if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button for more great Marvel Strike Force content. There's at least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos per week on this channel. Usually there's a lot more. We got tips like this, we get question and answer videos, news videos, everything to help you in Marvel Strike Force. But we're going to talk about 3 in particular teams that I think are very tempting to go out and build because they either were part of the meta back in the day, or they've gotten some reworks, or they're a new team. And then we're going to talk about 3 other characters / teams that I think you do need to build, you do need to invest in to a certain point. But after that, I think you could just forget about them once you've done all that. So let's get right into it. First team I want to talk about, and this is a team that was meta way back in the day. They were relevant everywhere, but nowadays not so much, and that is the Infinity Watch. Now, the Infinity Watch, they're valuable in Arena. You could use these characters in the raids. You would have to split them up, but they had their value in the raids. And they were great in War. I don't think they were around when Crucible was around, but they were so meta back in the day. Nowadays, not so much. Not relevant in Arena, not relevant in the raids, except for maybe ValleyFlyin in the Gamma raids, and they're still very good in Cosmic Crucible on defense or offense, still very good in War on offense or defense, and they're a good team. I just think your resources are better spent on other characters that are going to give you a lot more value in especially the raids and on Arena. Now, let's talk about a few problems here. The first problem, let's talk about with ValleyFlyin, and that is her mini unique. You're going to need these for Apocalypse, Icarus, Sunfire, if you still don't have Apocalypse unlocked, Psylocke, you're going to need all that stuff for. So this is just a bad investment to invest in ValleyFlyin right now. She does have that value, like I said, in those Gamma raids. But outside of that, like I said, just kind of is on this Infinity Watch team. And let's talk about the biggest problem I think that's on this team for you to build them. And that's the Adam Warlock unlock. Now, if you already have them unlocked, you were using them in the meta, great. You can still use this team in Crucible and in War. But if you don't have them unlocked, to get that unlock is going to be pretty painful at this point. You're going to have to unlock, use the X Factor to unlock Adam Warlock, which is a decent team, but it's not really relevant in War offense nowadays. So X Factor to build them up just for Adam Warlock doesn't feel as good as it did back in the day. And you're also going to need Jubilee, which was part of the astonishing X-Men team, which was relevant very many places back in the day, but nowadays, not really relevant, not even used too much in Crucible and is okay in War. But the problem with Jubilee is to unlock her, you need that full Pimtech team. So if you already don't have Jubilee unlocked, you don't have Adam Warlock unlocked, this is not a great option for most players. So Nebula, Gamora, you could unlock them easily as they're still a powerful duo, but they'd full Infinity Watch, I would avoid them at this point. And another team to not build right now is this Black Order team. Now, like the Infinity Watch, Black Order is relevant everywhere. They were the most powerful team in Marvel Strike Force, using them in Arena, raids, War, and they were strong everywhere. Nowadays, they got a rework that makes them powerful on War defense. And when I'm talking about the Black Order, even though Thanos doesn't have that Black Order tag, I'm also talking about Thanos as well because it's a 5-piece team pretty much. But where are they useful now? Pretty much War defense. And for me, that is the lowest priority team. For me, it goes Arena, then raids, then Crucible, then War offense, then War defense. And that is where we're going to use the Black Order nowadays. They still are a good team. They're still relevant in modes like Blitz, but you're not using them in the more important game modes. I don't think I even see them at all in Cosmic Crucible. So pretty much War defense. And if you want to build them for War defense, because your alliance is really hardcore into War and you need every last defensive win possible, then maybe you can build them. But the season is coming to a close. There should be a new season of War coming. How long are they going to be in the meta? How long are they going to be a War defensive nightmare? Not sure, but they're also very easily countered by Wakandan. So there is a counter for these guys. So don't invest in Black Order, at least not right now. If there's something coming up that reworks any of these teams, then maybe investing in them. But look at what the reworks would be first. And the last team I want to mention that has very little value for most players is this brand new Infestation team. Big Time Spider-Man just added to the store, but I think this is a trap character. Don't buy this character with your power cores. Don't spend dark promotion credits on this character. This is going to be a war defense team pretty much. That is what you're getting this team for. Now, like I said with the Black Order, if war defense is very important to you and your alliance, then maybe you should be investing in this team because every little last war defensive victory will count. But if you're like most alliances in the game that don't take war very seriously, then there's no need for this team because like the Black Order is right now, this is a war defense team. And for me, this is the lowest priority teams. Now, there was some mention that Swarm, very, very good for Dark Dimension 6. A lot of damage, especially if you have high red stars on him. But I don't think it's worth building that character for that. Even if this is a god character in Dark Dimension 6, I find very little use for this character afterwards. So I don't think it's worth building. If it is worth it for you, just keep that in mind. You're not going to have a lot of value after that. Big Time Spider-Man, though, I think is the biggest trap character because outside of this Infestation team and outside of war defense, is not a very strong character. Doesn't look to have a lot of value in Dark Dimension 6, at least from what I've heard. So those are the three teams that I don't think you should invest in at all, unless you're in that specific scenario where war is very important to you. All right, next up is this Masters of Evil, but I think most of the Masters of Evil does have a lot of value. Kang, obviously one of the best characters in the game. Ultron is still gonna give you some value, and Titania and Moonstone, I think, makes this team stick. But what I want to talk about is Absorbing Man. Now, this full Masters of Evil team is required for the Nova event, so if you want to get that Nova unlock, you would need to build this Masters of Evil team. But I found that in that Nova Scourge, the least valuable character was Absorbing Man. This character doesn't do a lot on Crucible offense. That Wakandan matchup is pretty much decided by Ultron and Kang there. So Absorbing Man, very little value. I think it is very tempting to build this character because he is part of this Masters of Evil team. They are required for Nova, but I think that's a trap. If you have the resources, you can put in this character. But if you don't have the resources, I think you could spend them on other characters because I think after you build Absorbing Man, just so that he's not going to die when you use your Masters of Evil in that Scourge event or die whenever you're using the Masters of Evil on Crucible offense. Once he's at that point, I think you could stop investing in him and put your resources somewhere else. All right, next team that is worth building up to some extent, but you may want to stop after a certain point is this Tangled Web team. Now, Tangled Web, when they were first released in the game, were relevant in Arena. They were relevant a little bit in the raids. Obviously, very, very good in Cosmic Crucible. And because of that charge mechanic Weaver provides, it is very good in the war as well. But we've lost some value since then. Not relevant in Arena since Apocalypse has been out. Not useful in the raid since the Bifrost came out. Pretty much just on Crucible offense is where you're going to see them shine because this Tangled Web team, whether you have the Eternals or not, they're very easily countered by the new Warriors 5. So they're lost some value on Crucible defense, and on war offense and defense, they're still pretty good. Not really a use for Spider-Man Noir. 2099 is a good character, but relegated more to Crucible offense in this point. Now, Weaver, let's talk about her because she is a very good character, and if you want Apocalypse, you do need to build her. I used to be blue level 5. You need her at least level 90 and gear tier 17 to get that Apocalypse unlock, that big Apocalypse unlock. Is it worth building her after that point? Should you be building at your level 95? Well, if you're building her at this point, it's for Crucible offense. That's what you're building her for nowadays. And if you don't have a problem with that, if you're getting through everything in Crucible, you're not really getting a lot of value outside of that game mode for Weaver. People have taken it to Dark Dimension 6, and what I've heard is she loses her charge very, very quickly. So because of her long cooldown, it's not really a great asset in Dark Dimension 6 either. So I think this team is losing a lot of value. I think whatever you put into this team, you should leave it there. If you don't have that big boy Apocalypse unlock, build up Weaver till that point. But after that, I think you could kind of hold off unless you're really struggling with Crucible offense at this point. And the last team I want to talk about is this Nowhere team. Now, obviously, Nova has value in many different game modes. I don't think you should stop building Nova, but I do want to question the rest of these Nowhere characters. So right now, they're very valuable in war offense and they will be the next legendary unlock. And if you're wondering who the next legendary is, well, as we look at these data mines here, it says Meow. That's a legend. The new legend is on the prowl in this week's blog, which includes the details of the next legendary character. And if we looked at those images, Black Cat has been rumored for a while. That is the only one that goes that makes sense with Meow. So you're going to use this Nowhere team to unlock Black Cat. The big question is, we don't know Black Cat's kit yet. We don't know where that character is going to be valuable. We don't know how valuable this character is going to be. We don't know how big we need this Nowhere for that. So with that, I would build up Nova, and there is some value to some of these characters in Dark Dimension 6 as well. But even if some of these characters are great in Dark Dimension 6, my big question is, where are you going to use these characters after? So if it's worth it for you building up some characters to shine in Dark Dimension 6 and then sit on your bench after that, I think these are great Dark Dimension 6 candidates. But if you want that long-term value, you want these characters used in multiple game modes and have your resources go a long way, I think this is a trap team for Dark Dimension 6. And instead of investing in Nowhere, you can invest in characters that give you some long-term benefit. Pretty much you're building this team for War Offense and for whatever that unlock of Black Cat is. So this is one of those teams, I think you invest in them to a certain point, but after that you can wait. Now, I did invest in them a lot for that recent event just to get the max score in the Bounty of Asgard event. If it wasn't for that event, I probably wouldn't have built these guys up. So Nowhere, very questionable how much you should build these characters. And I'm specifically talking about Cosmo, or Infinity War, and Korg. Star-Lord does have some value because it's a cheap character for Dark Dimension 6, and it's a skill character that there's not a lot of great skill options. And that is it, guys. Those are the teams, those characters that I think are traps right now. Those three teams that we mentioned in the beginning, I don't think you should invest in them at all. And those three character/teams that we mentioned at the end, that's them to a certain point, but after that, just kind of go in a holding pattern unless there's some target that you really need to hit. But that is it, guys. Let me know. You agree with my choices? Disagree with my choices? Are there some other trap characters that I forgot to leave out the list? Or are there some characters that you think I should take off this list? Is Weaver still relevant? Is Nowhere going to be relevant even after Dark Dimension 6? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, though, guys. And if you want to know what is the best arena team right now, make sure you check out the video from last week. Hulk Fist Bump, ValleyFlyin out. Thanks for watching, guys.